our final speaker is actually going to be a recorded video. It's Adrien Delorme. I'm very sorry about the pronunciation. His Go story going from C++ to Go and his way of learning more Go. So from software engineering for embedded systems, video games, web, and then to the cloud. In this talk, he talks through his journey to Go as a C++ game developer to become an open source maintainer and a Go enthusiast. Please do still post all of your questions and your comments in our Slack channel in the Go for Slack. I'm going to tag him and he'll come back when he's online and answer all your questions there.
Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Adrien Delorme, senior software engineer at HashiCorp on the Packer team. I'm actually working with Wilken Riera, who you probably heard about today. And he asked me like, hey Adrien, it would be nice if someone like you could speak a little bit more about like how they sort of keep up to date with the tech in Go and how maybe they got to Go. And that's what I'm going to try to talk about today. I think he asked because I first started off as like a C and C++ engineer person, and I didn't get to go like from the get-go. And I think a good way to tell the story would be to maybe start from the beginning. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my school studies, and then like my first few jobs, and like try to explain sort of what was I doing there, because yeah, I was looking for the right sort of language to pick, and it was a long research for me, but maybe it's gonna be interesting to you, I hope. And for my school or studies, I picked that school called Epitech. It's a school in France, and I picked it because I wanted to become a games developer. Someone offered me a Game Boy when I was 6, and I remember thinking to myself, well, if I become the person that makes these games, then I spend so much time in my life playing video games, right? Well, I wasn't wrong, but I was also a little bit wrong. I'll come back to that later, but this school was really nice to me, and I think it still is, because it's not like so academic, but more like project oriented. You're given projects throughout the year, and then you have to like find a teammate or a few teammates. And so like the first years are very deeply oriented around C, like so you have to make, I don't know, a mini shell, like a shell with pipes and stuff. And then C++, and then you learn tons of C++, which is also a really cool thing on top of C. And that school also was really nice because I could do a lot of internships, and I was doing like sort of these web internships. And I managed to get an internship on a company that was making the computers that reads your car, the info from your car for like your local repair shop. And it was really cool because I was like doing this C program that talked in Bluetooth to your car, and it felt pretty nice to be able, like, I felt like I had powers, you know, like, oh, I can speak to your car now, I can do stuff. And then later on, I had like a few other internships, and my last one was on video games. So, well, but I was like almost ready to graduate. And this last internship was on video games, like these video game studios in Paris, 50 people, so like devs and like artists and like all that, you know, the nice stuff, all the people you get, all the things you can think about. It's a really cool studio with really nice people. But in the end, I realized like, video games programming is not exactly the right thing for me. It wasn't right for me, even though like I made friends there. I loved C++ and like I loved playing video games, but just because you like video games doesn't mean that you will like actually working on video games. And I didn't like it because the first thing is I felt like the video games industry was kind of like eating people, and and you as an intern, you get to be the young person that asks like very deep questions to all the people you meet, like, hey, how do you like your job, and what is annoying about your job, and like, would you do that forever? If you could change one thing, what would that be? And I was sitting next to this person that just had a tiny kids, and his partner at the time was just calling him exactly at the time he needed to leave the office, just to see if he was, even if he was going home, like, are you coming home tonight on time or not? So can I expect you? Also, as like with the interaction I had with people, it really felt like there was like sort of this competition. Everyone wants to be the guy that does the stuff and wants like to sort of make a name, because that's how you sort of improve. And to the point that you get people tell you like, hey, if you want to be working in video games, you don't exactly need a raise because you're doing your dream job, right? Yeah, so by the end of that internship, even though my manager asked me like if I wanted to do another internship because the possibility was there, and I remember like having like this deep internal monologue, like, what am I gonna do? It's really what I wanted to do, but it's really not it. I'm not gonna strive here, and I'm gonna become sad. And these people are nice, and I love working here, but I don't want. It's not gonna be sustainable for me. It's not gonna work for me. So and that's about when I started. Started doing the startup thing. So I wanted to become this, Elon Musk type of person, where you start this nice startup and become rich instantly. It didn't work quite well. So I did a few websites for myself, and with a friend, we started this like social network for gamers. And also I was a freelancer at the time, like just doing so. I was working with like PHP Symfony 2, which is like a PHP framework. And I felt like it was really cool because it gave you like so much freedom to do whatever. And you also had these bundles. So it allowed you to like do these little packages, and like you really know how to use them, and you can like take them and like it helps you like be faster to like create websites. So I could like sort of create websites in 2 weeks or sometimes even a weekend for simple projects. And same here, after a year and a half, I also remember thinking to myself, well, that's not exactly for me. And that's when I started like looking for like opportunities and jobs and stuff. Like, what could I do? I need to change. Like, I didn't want to be tagged as like Symfony 2 guy, because it felt like PHP was not also the right language for me, and being a freelancer was definitely not for me, because it's really hard to find clients. Well, at least for me, and it was also not for me because Symfony and PHP and JavaScript, because I was also like what we call a full stack dev. They were moving a little bit too fast for me. There was so many things going on. I was trying to follow, to find the right framework. And maybe I should have probably slowed down, but it really felt like everyone was trying to create another framework or another solution to their problem. Instead of maybe thinking about maybe the issue is actually the language and not the framework they're using. Yeah, and that's about when I found Go. Like, someone in the office was chatting about it and was really hyped about it, and I overheard the conversation, and over the weekend, I gave it I gave it a go, and I remember like sort of instantly feeling it like it to be the good language for me. Like, it had all the things I liked about C and C++, statically compiled, really simple objects, not too much like parentheses or like um, introduction to a file, it really gets to the like programming, and I thought it really moves so many things out of your way so that you can just like get to programming, and at the same time, all of the choices that were made to make it felt so right to me. As someone that came from C, C++, and Symfony 2 with bundles, packages, and I instantly started doing open source work. So I was doing this library that was compiling perceptual hashes of images. So basically, you have an image and you apply magic maths to it, and you get sort of a perceptual number that gives that identifies this image or the part of an image, and it allows you to tell what looks like what. And in the beginning, it was really bad, and it was really bad for a few years actually, or months maybe. Like in the beginning, I would have this routine that would treat one line of pixel, like per line of pixel, one routine, easy to scale, right? You just let the Go runtime do it, but turns out it was really bad. Yeah, it was really bad, and so much more simpler to have one thread do everything. And then I started doing and about Go, that one thing that I felt was kind of annoying and I didn't know what to think about was the memory management, like the fact that you don't malloc, you don't allocate memory yourself, and you don't decide sort of what is going to be the size of what and whatnot. And it took me a few years to start liking it. After seeing all of these security issues and problems that would cause, and I started thinking, yeah, maybe it's okay that I don't sort of manage memory, and the Go does that, because then I don't have to be scared about that, and it's one thing I can take out of my plate. And maybe one day the garbage collector is going to be so powerful that it's going to be sort of transparent. Yeah, and in hindsight, now that I look back at it, I really think that this language pick was not only technological, but also a little bit about values. So if you look at the values of Go, for simplicity, yet powerfulness, and completeness, and the fact that it's made to be easy to maintain and to pick up as a newcomer, I really thought then, and I still think that this language would bring me more to people that are maybe okay with things being a bit more simple, that people that are maybe a little bit more humble, or people that maybe are a little bit more kinder to me when I do simple stuff. And it took me a while to realize these value stuff are really important, because as a young engineer, I really thought, values are just the things that recruiting people put in their recruiting page so that they can hire you. But it's actually a really good thing to look at as a beginner, because some companies have values, but then they don't adhere to them when you ask that questions, and then that gives you a lot of information about what your job is going to be like. And some companies have this thing directly in the hiring process. To me, it's a great. Today, if I could give myself an advice from the future, maybe pay a little bit more attention to the value things they were talking about, because it's not unimportant. The way I keep, I got better and I keep myself sort of up to date with things is in Go. So a very good way, at least for me, to sort of learn new stuff in Go is to read code from GitHub. So I read so many core packages to Go, like the HTTP package or the networking package, because you learn not only things about Go, but things about how the protocols work and how these little things are and why are they done like that. And but just reading wasn't enough, so I sort of made this sort of copycat package that would work very similarly to the HTTP package, but do something with WebSockets. and sockets. And that deep dive was really interesting because you really get into a project that is used by so many and that works basically. And I think that's important to have. And at the same time, I was contributing to open source stuff. And this actually 2 months after picking up Go and contributing and doing my libraries, this got me my first Go job. Like someone sent me an email saying, hey, we're building this social network geographical scrapper that is going to be all in Go, and we would like to hire you. And I remember saying instantly yes, because yay, what more experience can you get than having a job that is in the language you're learning? So that's like fast track to learn more. Today, the way I keep myself up to date with Go is like I registered to 3 main channels. Like there's like 2 that are Go oriented and 1 that is tech and more general oriented. So like the first one is like the changelog of the Go language. It's really nice because I always completely parse it, because it's kind of hard to read the whole language spec. But if you read the changelogs, then you can like sort of have a tiny deep dive about a little part of Go that maybe you will use, maybe you have used, and it gives you like ideas like of how you can do stuff, and also if that part is interesting, you can go there and read that code, and that was really cool. A second Go sort of source of information is like the Golang weekly mailing list. I think this one is really nice because it gives you like blog posts, like what's like the new stuff about Go. And this new project is doing that, so you can do other deep dives with projects that do something you had no idea you were interested about before. And my latest way to sort of keep up to date is like I have this TLDR newsletter, and I'm gonna put a link down the video somewhere so that you can maybe take a look at it. And it gives me like very, very short information about like, hey, this company is building this new cool stuff. This person made this new library, and it's like very getting to the point. And if you're interested, you can click on there and read some more. That's like the 3 like ways I have to keep myself up to date. I try to like keep up to date, but not like spend my whole time doing that, because yeah, you can spend a lot of time learning new stuff, and I really enjoy it. But I also enjoy life and yeah, being with my family and stuff. So yeah, that's like these 3 little things, and I read them at least weekly. And these give me like a lot of opportunities to learn new stuff. So if I feel like I have the energy to read this library, then I'll go and do it. Some weeks they would just pass by and I don't read anything because I don't have spoons, and that's about it, I think. I'll try to I'll try to answer your questions if you have some, and if I'm here. But if you have, don't hesitate sending me a message on Slack on the thread of my talk. I will be happy to answer it. I really hope this was insightful for you. And yeah, thanks for listening.